My hair's wet, but it'll probably be dry by the time I'm done with this video.
Check this out.
I'm just scratching the surface.
So Catfellow asks, have you had your toe looked at? And the answer is, negatory, good buddy, because of two reasons. Number one, I want to make this my own little National Geographic and see how nature takes its course. If my toe rots off, then well, so be it. I'm not going to try to do anything that will alter the course of real life and nature. Number two, I don't want to go to the hospital and have the doctor say, hey, take some aspirin and let me painfully cut off your toenail. And take some more aspirin. In the news, Troy Lee Neal this Thursday admitted and pleaded guilty to not paying child support. The funny thing is that he was a professional baseball player. And let me just tell you how much money he owes in child support. $760,000. He was ordered about 10 years ago to pay $5,000 a month in child support. So all you have to do is divide $760,000 by 5,000 and you get a bunch of months. A giant gallon of months. And anyways, this guy ended up leaving the country to not pay child support to an island off of Vanuatu, but his visa ran out, so he had to return to America. Right when he got off the plane, he had handcuffs. And yes, he could spend a few years in prison and pay a lot of money. So aside from the normal advice to give to anybody who has to pay child support and say, pay child support, don't ever marry someone that you're ever going to get divorced to, never have a kid that you do not want, and three, do not be a cheap bastard because you were living some people's wildest dreams by being a professional athlete. That's more offensive than anything else in the world, is to be something that people dream to be, and then be a douchebag. In Yamika, Washington, Mayor David Edler is looking into whether or not it is possible to do a crackdown or investigation on Sexpresso bars. Sexpresso bars are the bars where you go to where you get served your drinks while the barista is wearing a nightie, a teddy, a onesie, a snuggie, pajamas, lingerie, a bikini. Okay, maybe not all of those are included into the gear, the uniform of these Sexpresso bars, but basically they're selling sex and a product at the same time. Who doesn't? We've got a freaking burger, Hardee's, with this lady that's pretty much making love to a burger. Some ketchup slips on her leg, she licks that stuff off her leg, on her finger, and then, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. It's pretty disgusting. Not saying that I wouldn't do it, and I think you guys know what I'm talking about. But what's the big deal? So these ladies are looking nice and serving at the same time. I wouldn't mind having my espresso served to me by a lovely looking lady constantly, 24/7. You know, there has to be a hero of the week. There always has to be someone that you look up to, that you're like, oh my god, thank god the world exists. Because a lot of shit happens. A lot of stuff really sucks. People are being spammers. People are being trolls. But today, it's actually kind of a two-sided coin. I don't know how to say it. But my badass of the day is actually two things. It's a dog and a man. It's a dog that saves a man who saved him from being euthanized. And when I say him, I mean the dog, but I don't know if the dog is actually a guy or girl. In Blue Jay Campground in Windover, California, a man faced the charging mountain lion. Hoagie, this mixed breed, jumped in between the two, faced the mountain lion, fought him until the cat ran away, and Hoagie almost nearly being killed, and it took about 4 hours of surgery to save Hoagie. That is badass. And that is karma. I mean, really, man saves dog, dog saves man, cycle goes on, so please pay it forward. I mean, really. I'm serious. Like this video. You don't know what good could come to you if you forwarded this video to everyone you know. I mean, really. I'm serious. I'm not pleading here. I'm not begging at all. And one of the last things I wanted to talk about is the media and fear and everything scaring you. And yes, we have the swine flu that's scaring people into staying home and not touching each other and wearing funky masks. This is redonkulous. And when I say redonkulous, I mean ridiculous and donkulous hybrid. It's one word. I mean, really. We hear about diseases, we hear about people kidnapping kids and people missing. I mean, these are normal courses of events. This is 1 in a million. I mean, really, people should care about their kids, but keeping them secluded and keeping them away from disease is not a good thing. I mean, really, the reason why that adults have more antibodies than kids do is because we've been exposed to more. You keep kids away, then they get sicker. That's the reason why chickenpox could kill you if you don't have it as a child. You need that antibodies early on. Same thing with people worrying about their kids getting kidnapped. See, what they need to do is train their kids to whoop ass instead of keeping them indoors and keeping them limbs all weak and frail. No, you need to UFC train your kids, so if some strange person comes up, they punch them in the nuts like a UFC fighter. Exactly like that. Like Iceman. You ever seen Iceman throw his punches really fast? Yeah, kids need to do that to someone's ballsack. Because more or less, probably more than not, it's gonna be a guy who's sexually depraved, who stays at home, watching child porn, that's gonna kidnap a child. Or the ice cream man. I don't think they have them anymore. But the media is over-obsessive about spreading fear to people. And that fact alone makes a lot of people wary. More wary than necessary. I mean, and there's nothing more that spreads fear than fear. So everyone getting afraid and believing the news is just spreading the news and spreading that fear, because fear is contagious. And just to alleviate that fear, the crazy fear about strangers and kidnapping, a child's more likely to die in a passenger seat than by a crazy psychopath. So I watched the video. It is super badass. I want you guys to watch it. Here it is. Watch away.
Little evil. He wanted to be